Awesome. Yeah, I heard some great stuff over the last week since last Wealth Wednesday about some people structuring their deals. And guys, the deals are everywhere. People need something like this. I started thinking more about this, like, you know how very technical like a mortgage lender is with the stuff that they have to do for disclosures and risk analysis, loan to values, all these things, right? And the service that provides and all the training that people have to go through to stay up on it. And it's a when done ethically is a pathway to home ownership and ultimately a completely different financial path. So if we started looking at that as this is the service we provide the market, um, the Daine signature move, we talked like a month ago or so about it, calling it unblocked. I got to remember what the acronym was. But essentially treating that like a job, like a thing you can be hired for, and make a massive living off of. Instead of thinking about it like I need a deal for my portfolio, I think more people would take more action on this methodology of solving a real estate problem, which we've all been here getting trained on ever since we joined, was how to solve real estate problems for a profit. So anyway, I went to the Chamber of Commerce meeting last night, and they always ask, what do you do? And I did the thing, right? I told them a story about how we solved a real estate challenge. Then I also scared them by saying I want to put a casino in on our Main Street property, just to see who would react. It was pretty funny. There will be no casino going in on the Main Street property. But anyway, thinking about this as a service to provide and making it. Sorry, let me get this on. Do not disturb here. Yep. Anyway, it's a skill set, it's a service, and you can create massive wealth with it. So have you guys thought about it as like you're a contractor for that, or you're like a broker, like an appraiser, like you're just doing this thing that people desperately need in order to get a deal done. And at the same time, the people who are your money lenders, your capital partners, they need a higher than average rate of return also. So we're solving both sides of the equation, and then we can enrich ourselves honestly, legally, and ethically along the way. When I hear new students come in and they're like, I need to get a deal, doesn't it kind of just like push people away? Right? It's not an attractive thing, right? And yeah, exactly, Steve. That's exactly what it is. It's not the most attractive thing. So when you look when you go out to the marketplace with, I need to solve someone's problem, where are people that need my help? Totally different ball game. The deals start coming, the referrals, more than you can handle. More than you can handle. And that's the exciting thing about us. We live in an abundant world. We live in the best country ever to exist. It's pulled the most people out of poverty, and the opportunity is enormous. We have to go for it. We really do. And also the people we're fighting against, the IRS, the Federal Reserve, mostly are the two biggest thieves that we have to deal with in our paperwork and in our businesses. They're not going to stop. They're not going to take it easy on us. They're not going to slow things down. So neither should we. Ramp it up. Solve more problems. Cool. Well, GM, good morning to see everybody. Let's check out our quote of the day. From my very first day As an entrepreneur, I've felt the only mission worth pursuing in business is to make people's lives better. A knight, a modern day knight, Mr. Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson. I felt the only mission worth pursuing. Because there's a lot of things you can go after, right? This is making people's lives better. Yeah, it's exciting, man. We're doing an expansion, big push in Utah with some new people, right? Some 18, 19, 20-year olds coming in going, I'm not going to get a regular job. I'm not going to college. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, great. If you really want to be a successful investor, you need to make $250,000 in marketing real quick. And now they're ready to get in front of the room. So we've been training a bunch of new people. Anyway, it's exciting. It's electric, and it makes a positive difference. So, I believe the calendar got updated for our Super Saturday. This Saturday, we're going to be doing the nuts and bolts. What is the exact conversation to have so that you can actually enroll someone? There it is. Yep, right there. Oh, cool. And the Texas team is doing a 5-hour cash flow marathon. That's amazing. But yeah, Super Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time to noon. Mitch mainly put it on the calendar, but I will be helping do all the training with that. Cool. Cool. And then just as a friendly reminder, tomorrow is the iOS training with Jenna Hoover. That's at 3 Central, so 2 Mountain Time. Be sure to be on that. All your new students, even people who, it's been a while since you've seen it, the AI updates. she was saying, they have one of the biggest databases in America when it comes to property and bankruptcy and taxes and all the stuff. It's incredible. And she said big data is creepy data. Like what they're able to find out about someone's life through the AI, through the data, through the scraping. It's pretty wild. Just goes to show you that you need to take your cybersecurity a little more serious also. Anyway, the deals are everywhere. She can help you find them. And it's also a great reason for your new students to plug into some support. Okie dokie. Great. And someone asked me the other day for the follow-up webinar, for the follow-up PowerPoint. And where the heck is it?
Your PowerPoint that you were using the other day, I think Monday, the scripting and follow-up.
Oh, yes. That is in a PDF, not a PowerPoint, but yeah, we need to, whoops, close this. Yeah, that's some gold right there. Get this out of the way. All right, PDF. I have too many things open. One of those days. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to go over the follow-up script with you guys real quick because we're seeing a huge number of people coming into the Zoom, to the online for the E3 summit. And you got to know what to say at the end. We're going to have plenty of people in person, But the selling and the telling will be done a lot easier for in-person people. So I want you guys to make sure, because I know some of you were doing the remote viewing. No, that's something else. This would be attending remotely. Yeah. The follow-up script. First of all, release statements create a space for people to be able to say no. Okay. If you give them the right to say no, you've given them the opportunity to say yes. Making sure that you don't box people in. It's the same with your real estate deals. It's the same with a homeowner. If you don't box them in and force them to say yes, if you give them the out on the deal, that you're the kind of person that you're being that allows someone to say no really does make them say a genuine yes. There's a little phrase that says, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still." So it's not about convincing, it's about educating, it's about, opening up possibilities. But anyway, the release statement. Hey, if you don't want to go, it's 100% okay with me. You know your situation better than I do. If you can't afford it, don't do it. This program may not be a fit for you. It's not for everybody. I'm building it big. If you want to come with me, great. If not, no problem. And being able to speak this way, hold your posture this way, it's the opposite of needy, right? It's like, look, dude, I'm doing it with or without you. I just thought it'd be way more fun, and maybe your wife would love you a little bit more if you were a little richer. I mean, maybe don't say it that way, but depends on the friend. Depends on the friend. Anyway, release statements. When to use them? All the time. The follow-up script. Right here. Okay. 5 questions. 5 questions said with genuine enthusiasm. All right. What to say after the event? Remember, this is okay. So when you are sitting with your guest, you have to remember that they're in a they've just been pitched a life-changing deal. They've seen the overwhelming evidence through all the testimonials, but now they got to make a decision that that they need to justify with logic, right? So they have feelings, they need to be justified with logic, but they will buy on emotion and justify later with logic. So we want to make sure to help them stay in the good feels. And one of those, the thing that sets it off is this question: what did you like best about what you saw tonight? What do you like best? Okay. Not what did you think? Because then they might be like, oh, the chairs were too comfortable or not comfortable enough. The lighting was this. We don't want to know what they think. People are crazy. They got 80,000 thoughts a day. What did you like best about what you saw? There's 3 to 5 answers, really. Okay, there's no guesswork in this. They're going to say, I liked the community. I liked the education. I liked the deals. I liked the story. I liked the tax strategies, something like that. And then your next line is, well, I guess we got to get you, and then restate their words. Because remember, if they said it, it's true. So a lot of people say, I like the study groups. I like the fact that I can come back here week after week. Great. Sounds like we need to get you plugged into the study groups. Yep. We do. Okay, great. Well, we need to set up a one-on-one. Are you available tomorrow or Saturday? Now remember, speed is the name of the game. I like Thursday night. I like having coffee with them Friday morning. We're going to get some pancakes or something. And showing them like, I'm serious about this. You ought to be too, because uh, the forces that are working against you, right? The IRS, Federal Reserve, the banking system, um, they're in a rush to rob you. So you need to be in a rush to prevent that. So let's go. Let's get some real estate. Um, okay, let me introduce you to my advisor. Now, if you're on the Zoom, um, then make a call. If they answer, great. If not, you have a calendar event set. You'll say goodbye. Like I said, if this is on the Zoom, and then bring your 5-star or someone that you're working with that you know can do the job for you. I'm not everybody's 5-star, but I do a lot of follow-ups for people. I have a lot of fun with it. I love helping people overcome their small-minded fears and get into our program. So if I'm not your advisor, it's fine, but find someone who's going to help you if you're brand new. Otherwise, most of you know what to say anyway. The thing I wanted to just really, anchor down is this question right here will set the tone of the rest of the conversation. Now, what did you think? What did you like best? And then give them what they want. Give them exactly what they're after. So anyway, Deborah, I will get this over to you for sure. And look at all these beautiful people that joined. GM, let's get into this Wealth Wednesday. Holy moly, we just keep architecting our wealth. I'm super grateful to have our trainer here today. And one thing I'm constantly impressed by is the systematic thinking, staying organized and still working part-time. It really is a challenge to go from, being trained literally from a child that you're going to work 40 or 50 hours a week to saying, no, 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 I'm going to work 10 hours a week and I'm going to be 10 times as productive. And Daine Clark has done just that. He completely redesigned his life, his future for his parents, for his brothers and sisters, cousins, for his children. Everywhere he goes, the dude is influencing in a positive way. I am constantly admiring the way that he answers people's questions and solves a problem while having fun and making friends. And he's a great example of being a product of the product. When he got this program, which of course, for most of us, it's spending the most money we've ever spent in one time. And within 10 months of taking the education, he completed a deal, did the velocity banking, paid off his credit cards, and is on a whole new life path. Now, some of you will do it in less than 10 months. Some of you will take way longer than 10 months. But the point is, the sooner you get obsessed with the training and embody that as the business owner that you want to be, the faster it's going to happen. And so Daine is here to help us remove some of those obstacles, get clarity on the path that we're taking, and super grateful for the example that he sets out in the wonderful world of real estate. So let's give a big warm welcome to the man of the hour, Mr. Daine Clark.
What is up, dude?
Thanks for being
Dudes
here.
and dudettes.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. We got a wonderful audience ready to take some action.
Yes. It's getting darker. It's funny. It used to be like bright daylight at this time, but
Yeah,
now it's like the sun's like just coming up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the beans, my third round of beans just we harvested yesterday. So
Holy.
yeah, it helps to be at 34 degrees latitude,
Yeah. Yes, that's awesome. Crazy,
But I was
crazy.
thinking about your text that you sent me last about finding more deals that way, and I was wondering if you would expand on that with this group about
Um,
the motivated sellers.
yes. Let me jog my memory. I remember what you're talking about.
Because
However,
at first we were trying to figure out where could we find these leads from home without having to just call realtors over and over and over. And we were talking about,
ooh, yes.
right,
How could you
absentee owners
uh
with expired listings. But then we expanded on that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's funny because I'll have a conversation with somebody, whether it's on this call or just generally a one-on-one conversation, and it's oftentimes that it's right after, like pay attention to this too, because this will happen to you. This I feel like this happens to me all the time. In fact, we got a deal doing this once where had a conversation, didn't go so well, and then hit us, called them back and bought the house because we solved their problem. Anyway, we can share that story another day. But yeah, it hit me right after we were talking last week about, hey, how do you find like my favorite? Because I think we talked about one of the ones that um, and I don't think I shared this part of the story, but I was walking through the streets of Legoland, and somebody called me like in frantic, I need help. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take a quick call. And so I'm walking through the streets of Legoland, and this guy is like pissed. The seller is pissed because he's like, I'm already hiring, realtor to kick him out and whatever. Anyway, so well, that was one of the best deals I ever did. And I love that style. In fact, working on one of those right now, actually. And another one very similar. The house has appreciated immensely since the client moved in and did a lease option, or in this case, seller finance. And there's a balloon payment, and they can't refinance to save their life. The guy's making more money than he ever has in his life, but he can't refinance this house. Anyway,
Crazy.
so it hit me. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
No, I'm just saying it's crazy that like the game is so rigged in these obvious ways.
Yeah, so it hit me right after. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a parameter that you could search, no problem. So any realtors on here, confirm or deny this. But I'm pretty sure you can filter by sell type. Like how did it sell? Was it conventional? Was it cash? Was it seller financing? And so if you just did a quick search and went back like 5 years even, um, so you go back 5 years and look at every single house that's sold on specifically seller financing and get a hold of those people, whether you go knock on their door, whether you go and call the realtor that's on the listing, or sorry, not the listing, on the buyer's agent. Like let's say you call the buyer's agent that represented them or talk to them directly, either way, and just and or send mailers. Like let's say and I don't love mailers because it's less effective because all wealth is built through conversation. Yes, a mailer is a conversation starter, but it's only a chance for a conversation starter. Like there's a very good chance that they never hear your voice. And so whatever it takes to for them to hear your voice to start that conversation, do it. But yeah, go search any seller finance and maybe I'd say go, I see 5 year balloons all the time, but maybe go like 6 years because maybe there's somebody like, in fact, the one that I'm working on right now. Um, I think they only had a 3 year, and the person that's involved in this one, you can chime in and correct me if you would like. We can keep you anonymous if you would like, but I think there was like a 3 year, and then the seller was like, "Oh, I'll extend 1 year," and and so they did, and then 1 year later, "Oh, yeah, I'll extend one more year." And then they did, and now I think we're on the third year of trying to extend, and the seller was like, "I need the money, please, please either refinance or get out." I shouldn't say get out because it sounds like he's been very, very nice, very, very nice gentleman that did the seller finance for them. But yeah, go like 6 years, 7 years, and just talk to all of them and say, "Hey, is there a balloon payment? Do you need help?" Um, and 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 you could even do a little bit more. Let's see, you could do a little bit more research if you wanted to and say, pull the title data. Um, um, Renatus iOS would have this, and I believe the MLS nowadays can do this too. But you could pull the MLS, or sorry, you could pull Renatus iOS and say, okay, it looks like here's when they bought it, and there was a trust deed or whatever on the date of the sale from what we got from the MLS. And then you'd be able to see if there was any refinancing or if they even sold it. Because let's say maybe they sold it if you're going back 6 years, there's a chance that it was even sold. But yeah, you could see if there was a refinance or not. And if there's not, then hey, yeah. Did you have a balloon payment? And did you try and fix that? And for lack of a better term, did the bank flip you the bird? That's my favorite thing to say. It gets people like, yeah. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I did. I tried. And the bank said no. But yeah, I think people would think that you're like sent from heaven because how did you find me? Like, you would have stories like that. I mean, yeah, some people would be like, no, get out of my face. But some people would be like, oh my gosh, you are a blessing from heaven. Please help us. In fact, the couple that we're working with right now, that's how they responded to this. They're like, oh, we have been trying to find a way to do this. And like within 10 minutes of talking with this couple, they were just like, oh my gosh, this is a breath of fresh air. Like so many people strung us along and said maybe they can help, but they could tell. They could tell like this is what I do. This is what Daine does. And they were just like, oh, nothing in the world more fulfilling. Yes. And so yeah. And those, like I say, these are my favorite type of clients. I can't believe I haven't thought of this before. In fact, Michael, thank you. And whoever else was involved in asking these questions, thank you so much for challenging. That's what I like to call this, is like challenging this, even my own status quo. Because when you challenge something, it either fizzles out or it gets stronger. And I can't believe, because I've always been thinking, how can I find more people in this scenario? Because again, it's my favorite scenario. And from asking questions like this, challenging even my own status quo, look what we brought out. I mean, what a brilliant idea. Just go talk to people that got seller financing 5 years ago and would be so readily accessible right through the MLS. Just do a quick search, solds, criteria, seller financing. In fact, I bet you, here, watch this. Safari. Let's see, I was just in the MLS this morning, so let's see if we're still logged in. Oh, we got to re-log in. MLS. CMA. And we're going to say days back. Well, let's see, what's 365 times 6, 2,190, 2,190 days back, sold. Let's see if sold type is on here. It better be. Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say there has to be, because there's
like isn't
Is
there
that
like
MLS,
sub-listings?
MLS Daine?
What's that? Yeah, this is just the
Is that-
Utah MLS.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
What's in the status drop-down bar?
Yeah, that's going to be like, is it active? Is it under contract? Backup offer or sold? So we want sold. Number of days back. List price, sold price.
Melissa says sold term.
Yeah. So for example, I was going to say like everything. Here, let's just go like the last like 10 days. Oh, it's even, here, let's see.
What's property type?
It's like single family, condo, mobile, twin. Oh, there's got to be a way to search this here. Let's see. And sorry, maybe I'll do this on my own time and find the way. Full dial.
Yeah, maybe you just get the whole listing of solds, and then like if it's all in one long sheet, you could just Command F and search for the word
if you
seller
can-
finance.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do the last like 2 or 3 days.
There should be an option for sold terms.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't see it. So I'm looking in the full now. Quadrant.
Sold info's at the bottom.
Square feet. Listing type. Sold terms. There it is. Seller financing. Lease option. Oh. Exchange. Cool. So seller financing, lease option.
Now change it back to 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah, because I think we changed it to like 10 days. There we go. 2190. In fact, here, let's do this. Instead of do that, let's say sold date. Oh, come on. How do I get back? I just made these fields go away. All right, let's refresh. All right, sold date. Let's go like one of 20, what is it, 2025? Let's do like 2019. And then go one of 20, I don't know, 2022. All right, it's thinking how many of these? Okay, so 433. Oh yeah, there we go. 433 sold on seller financing or lease option in that year. What did I do? Like a 3-year range. View map. Let's see if it's gonna, yeah, it's probably gonna make us draw things. So let's go like this. Let's say I want to do properties. Whoa, that's fine.
Good radius.
Maybe too big. All right, let's make it smaller. Radius. Let's just do, oh, there we go. It just shows us everything now. Get rid of that. Cool, so it shows us all of them. So, oh, come on, now it's gone. Maybe it was just catching up. All right, let's do it one more time. Let's just do like Salt Lake County-ish. Is it going to space? It doesn't look like it's thinking. Oh, there we go. Cool, and I see like some 1.6 million, stuff like that. So let's actually go back and do a price range. Because I personally, somebody else could maybe be okay with this, but I personally don't like doing higher end homes. Oh, actually, I want to get Tooele in there too, but we can do this another time. It's a lot of data that it's working through. All right, there we go. Refine search. So let's see, sold price. Let's go down to like 150,000. Let's go up to like 600,000. And see what that gives us. 116. Cool. 116 conversations in just like the Salt Lake and roughly surrounding up to Bountiful down to Lehigh.
Right. And then you could combine that with the expired listings too. And then you have more deals than you can stick at.
Yeah, exactly. And we even only did to 22. I mean, go back to like 2015 even and just start calling on all of those. And so yeah, let's see how many did that produce. Oh yeah, we already said 116. Something like that, 113. Over 100. And it's so much data that it's thinking. I usually never see the MLS take this long. Usually when I'm pulling like comps, it takes like 5 comps.
Right.
But yeah, it's going to give us a list view here in just a minute.
So
Cool. So yeah, here we go.
Could you make a list criteria that included the expired listings that were offering seller financing or terms? Because that
I'm
would
not
be an even
sure.
bigger list, but anyway, this is still plenty
Yeah.
of work right here in front of us.
Yeah. So yeah, could take all these houses that sold on seller financing within 2019 to up to the beginning of 22. So really, um, like 3 years. And interesting, lots of them are townhouses. Rambler Ranch.
Hey, Dane,
Cool.
most
I
of
mean,
them
good
are
mix.
probably yours.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a handful of them that are.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, in fact, yeah, I bet you at least a few of these are mine. I'm just remembering dates, but yeah. Cool. So yeah, could cross-reference this if you wanted to weed this even down further, could go through and try and say, okay, which ones have refinanced or sold again, and could weed those ones out. But again, a conversation's a conversation. And so if this house sold on seller financing once, guess what? I had one situation where the guy was like, "Hey, I own a house on seller financing. I want a different one, and so I want to sell that house that I have on seller financing and buy another one on seller financing." And so even if, let's say, there was no balloon payment that they're scrambling about, could be like, "Hey, you want to move? Um, Go pick any house you want. I'll buy that house and sell it on seller financing to you." And so yeah. In fact, I'm trying to remember if we tried this. I know I would have at least tried this, but I even was like, "Hey, sell your house on seller financing, and then I'll help you buy your new one on seller financing, and so you'll like make money." Instead, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm trying to remember if I know I've tried that several times. I did that on my house, sold my house on seller financing, although I didn't buy the house we're living in now on seller financing, but I sold the old one on seller financing and used the down payment and then cash flow towards the new one. Um, and in my opinion, that was like better than buying a house with a mother-in-law apartment because they don't have to live with me. Um, and so still and you're not a landlord. And so um, in fact, yeah, the house that I sold on seller financing that we used to live in, I mean, they like poured concrete, RV pad. They completely redid the siding of the whole house. I mean, they dumped money into this. I've never had a tenant do that, where they dumped tens of thousands of dollars into my rental house. But the people I sold on seller financing to, I mean, man, they spruced the place up and made it their own. Added value to the house big time. So anyway, but yeah, this is what I like. This is what I'd be doing if I wanted 10 more deals like tomorrow. So brilliant. So thank you, Michael. I've been wondering how to,
You know, I'm here to help.
because right now, here's how I find deals. And then the phone rings and somebody's like, "Hey, somebody had a conversation with somebody and I need your help." And it works.
Yeah.
But this, and so I just basically go and have intentional conversations all over the place. I go to lunches, I go to events, whatever, and I network with people and I tell stories. This would be a very good like outward activity to go and find deals. And so brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah, there's a couple questions
Challenging
in
the
the
status quo.
in the chat.
Okay, yeah. Jasmine, so let me understand. We are looking for people who need to refinance, then help them do that. So let's say, and again, this is like putting the blinders on. This is like the Daine, what would I call that? The Daine signature deal. And so just the type of clients that I serve, people that make decent money, have skin in the game, and need seller financing. That is my favorite client. And so we're not looking to flip houses. We're not looking like this is the type of lead that somebody, let's say, these houses right here that we just looked at. This is somebody that probably bought this house back in 2019 to 2022 and got it on seller financing and had a balloon payment. And the balloon payment said 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. And now that they have the balloon payment coming due, they might be trying to refinance. And for whatever reason that they couldn't get financing, 3 to 5 years ago, it still exists today. They write all their taxes off. They haven't been working on their credit. They are an immigrant. They are commission sales. They do taxes, and so they make all their money in like January to April, and the bank doesn't like that. Like there's a bunch of reasons why people need seller financing. So let's say that the same reason they needed seller financing 5 years ago still exists today. They were trying to refinance, and so far everyone's just like, sorry, can't help you. And so basically what I do, and when I help these types of clients, and like I said, I typically find these people because my phone rings, and because I told a story somewhere, and that story was told to either 1, 2, or 3 people deep, and somebody was like, "Who is this guy? I need this service," and then my phone rings because let's say like in this, like the story that I'm going through right now, that person. Let's see, I told a story to somebody, they told a story to their father, and then their father told that same story to the gentleman that they met at a car show of all places. And so that gentleman was like, "Oh, I need to know that person." He's like, "Oh, well, it was my daughter." And so the father then calls the daughter and is like, "Hey, that thing, that thing that you were telling, that story that you were telling me about. I met somebody at the car show." And then she's like, Aubrey. Yeah, thank you. I wasn't sure, Aubrey, if you wanted to stay anonymous or not. But so this is Aubrey. Aubrey has a conversation with her dad. Her dad goes to the car show, has a conversation with a gentleman, and she tells the same story to her dad, and her dad tells the same story to the guy at the car show. For whatever reason, they started talking about this. And the story comes up, and he's like, "Oh my gosh." So he calls Aubrey like, "Hey, that story you told me." And then Aubrey calls me like, "Hey, that story that I've heard you tell." And we need help. They bought this house for $585. Actually, it was like $550. $550,000, give or take, back in 2019. In fact, it might be on here. 550,000 back in 2019. Did like a 2-year balloon. The guy was like, "Yeah, we'll extend. No worries, but we'll add 10,000 to the price." And so they did that 1 more year later. We can't quite do it yet. We'll add 10,000 to the price and we'll extend 1 more year. And so they did that for years in a row. And then here we are, the seller is like, "Hey, I need the money. I need the money now. So can you make this happen, please?" And anyway, so from the car store to the father to Aubrey, and then here it is back to me, where I'm just like, "Yeah, I can help. This is like my cup of tea. This is my bread and butter." And so anyway, that's usually how I find my deals. But this would just be a way better niche conversation starting with people that are in the same situation of the story that we're, like I said, the story that we're in the middle of right now. We're in the before story, and we have a good idea of what the after story is going to be like. But yeah, awesome, awesome stuff. I'm trying to see if that house is on this list. Because it would have been. That house would have been on this list from from the year mark that we did. Anyway, so yes, I hope that Jasmine, I hope that answers your question. And so I guess I didn't finish the story. So she said, we're looking for people who need to refinance because they have a balloon. So basically what I'm doing in this scenario of the house, 585 is now the purchase price. The house is worth $1 million. And so I'm basically stepping in and saying, hey, I'll buy the house. I will purchase this house for the 585 and I will turn around and I will sell or finance it to you immediately. And so I will be basically, I can't say I'm the bank, but I will become like your bank. I will become your new seller financier. And so yes, it's under sold term. I'm not sure what Melissa's talking about. It's under sold term. But Amy says, remind me what seller financing is. So basically in this scenario, I will purchase this house for $585,000. And then I will turn around and seller finance it where I'll basically be the bank and they will make monthly payments to me. Now, in this case, there's so much equity in this house that I'm not even telling these people like, hey, bring like a ton of skin in the game. I think I told them like, hey, will you bring like $4,000? But they actually just dumped. Let's see. I made a condition, if you will, of saying, hey, I'll only do this if you do this. I know because there was some stuff that was needing in the basement, and then the concrete. I guess all of the houses on this street. It's kind of up on the hill, and so, or not, it is up on the hill. And so from the street to the front door, it's like 2 flights of stairs. It's a really long stairway. And I guess every single house on this street, the stairs sunk like 8 inches. And so the top step is like 18 inches of the last step to get to the front door. And so I basically made a condition and said, hey, I only want to do this because I know the appraiser is going to have an absolute cow if they see that, and it might make it so the lender as well. So I basically made a condition and said, hey, if you guys will fix those steps, then we can do this. And so, and I gave them a few other punch list items. And so basically they've been working on that. In fact, I think, let's see, they just texted me and said, like, hey, we got that done. I'm working on the railings now because the railings like stretched as the steps sunk into the dirt. But anywho, and so seller financing means they will make a monthly payment to myself. So it's like a rental property, kind of. Rental property, somebody moves into the house you own and they make you monthly payments. But if the water heater breaks, you fix it. In this scenario, they move into the home that I purchased. They make me monthly payments, but if the water heater breaks, they fix it. And so like in my mind, like that's like the major difference in seller financing is I'm more like the bank than I am the landlord. And so there's seller financing for you. Monthly payments without the hassle of maintenance. And so Vivian says, so can you clarify the deal with the seller? Are you trying to take over the seller fund? No, I'm just going to buy it. I will just buy it outright. So I'll buy it cash. Well, I'll buy it hard money, if you will. And then I will immediately go get what's called a DSCR. Write that down. DSCR, it's called debt service. Let's see, DS coverage ratio. DSCR. DSCR. And so I will go get a DSCR loan that's basically like a rental loan. And I told him whatever interest rate I get, so I'll probably get like 7% right now. Might be a hair better, but let's just say 7. So if I go get 7%, I told him, hey, I'll just charge you 2% above whatever I get. And again, if you guys were on this call like a month ago, people were asking me like how much you pay private money lenders. And I'm sorry I just gave it away, but what I just told you, like, don't take that as gospel. I just said, hey, I'll charge 2% because that's what I do. You can do whatever you want. In fact, I will say that when I first started doing this, when I was getting like 3% interest from the bank, I was charging my client like 7.25. So I had a spread of 4.5% from what I was paying the bank to what I was charging my client. But again, as of late, where I'm systematizing this and like basically making an assembly line to do an infinite number of these, I just built my criteria and said, okay, if I just add 2%, I can crank these out. So yeah, I don't make as much per deal, but I can do more deals. And so anyway, so I'll make that spread on monthly cash flow. And if the water heater breaks, they fix it. And so yeah, there's I guess a little further Amy clarification. And then Vivian, let's say that answers your question. I will go get a DSCR loan. Let's see, more questions. Underwrite,
So
negotiate,
Dane,
unblocked.
uh,
Go ahead.
well, I have a question, Dane. When when you're done talking about this, is
No, go ahead.
can I ask it?
I'm just
Okay,
reading through questions because
okay.
there's a bunch.
All
This is
right.
awesome.
So here's the thing. Someone wants to, get a house, but because of, her husband and their job is like under the table. So they have all this, like
Mhm,
they're looking for like a
mhm,
$200,000 house. So they have 200,000 under the
mhm.
mattress, and they want to buy a
Like, oh, they
house,
have
and
cash.
they only have cash. And of course,
And
they can't do.
you're saying they have 200,000 cash?
Yes. So, well,
Okay.
how would you, I did talk with my attorney, my real estate attorney, and so what he's suggesting is, well, here's what I was, suggesting, just so because they don't want to trigger, an audit from the IRS if they're putting it in the bank account and stuff, even if they're doing little
Hmm.
by little. Because I said, you could do it like little by little, just don't do, the 10,000, and just do it like, maybe 5,000, a few thousand, just do it slowly. So what I was even thinking, instead of paying it off, if you're really worried about the IRS, you can just do a DSCR, and then do it that way, and just put the whatever you need to buy it through DSCR, and then just make the payment monthly, and then just kind of attack it, from when you already own the property.
Yeah.
And so that was what I actually suggested. And, and same with my attorney. And he said, yeah, maybe open like, several accounts, and, put like, a few thousand there, a few thousand here. And as long as I can show it that you have the, the money, then you will be able to do this. And so that's
Mhm.
what. So, is there any other way that you would do
Yeah,
it?
I'd say instead of like waiting to save up $200,000 of small randomized increment deposits, I just say, hey, like, let's just seller finance it to you. Like, point to any house you want. I'll buy it. I'll turn on and seller finance it to you. And so over the course of the next month or two, just save up enough to pick a number, down payment. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're like, oh, 20% down, I'll seller finance, $200,000 house for you. So let's say it takes you 1 or 2 months to randomize incrementally, put some cash in the bank, and now you have 40,000. And so save up that $40,000 in the bank. Let's go get you a seller finance house, and then you can just pay it off incrementally. Do a 5-year amortization. Like, let's say they're like, oh well, we don't want to have a lot of debt. Like, we'll do a 5-year amortization then, and you could run the amortization sheet, and they'd save an immense amount of money by doing something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and get the house a lot sooner, and then still own it free and clear a lot sooner as well. So you do something like that, or let's say you're like, okay, yeah, I'll buy the house for you, and then maybe you do like a lease option to them. That way your cash doesn't have to go through the title company. And again, this is only assuming that you are comfortable receiving paper bills, cash money as like a lease option and say, okay, yeah, I'll buy the house, I'll lease option it to you. Go ahead and give me the pick a number option money, down payment, if you will, in cash outside of title, because I know most title companies will probably not touch cash paper bills,
No, they won't.
especially to that amount of money. And so you say,
Right.
okay, I'll lease option it to you. We could do that outside of title, and then we could do a conversion to seller financing in like a month or whatever, and I'll just give you the credit on the settlement statement that you already gave me the cash outside of closing, predating closing, if you will. Um, and then we'll officially do the seller financing at that time. And again, that's assuming if you're okay to receive the, $40,000, whatever, pick a number, dollars in
Mm-hmm.
cash,
Okay.
paper bills, and then you get to be the one that incrementally, puts the or
Right.
spends
So you
it,
would
wherever.
so you would actually take
But
40,000 in cash, and then you would deposit it to your account like little by little.
yeah, if
Okay.
you received it.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Okay.
or just say, okay, yeah, I'm now buying groceries cash for the next year or whatever. Pick a strategy, but
Yeah, right. Yeah.
um,
I know. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and that
I
would
I
solve
thought of that
both
too, but I'm
problems.
like, okay, so how am I gonna, yeah, well, I mean, I could, put it, to that, but again, I don't want to just again red flag and all that, but incrementally depositing it, that might work. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dane. Yeah, I was thinking of
Totally.
that, but I don't know if I'm comfortable just getting that, and I just want to make sure everything is
Yeah.
everything is a good
Yeah,
$100 bill or something.
yeah, you asked for options, so I gave them to you.
Yeah, yes,
But yeah,
exactly. So
in the past
mm,
when I've had people ask, I mean, I had somebody ask me if they could bring like $60,000 in paper cash, and I said
mm,
no. I just
mm.
said deposit that, kind of like what we just said. Deposit that. If you need to do it incrementally, that's fine, and then wire it to the title company when we're ready.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
See, that's what I
but
told
yeah,
them. I
let's
was
see.
like, you
Melissa
can do
says,
it. Mhm.
yeah,
But they don't want to do it that way because again, they're basically they're basically like defrauding the government. So, which I don't know, it's
yeah.
I don't know
How
if
much
I
do you
feel.
want to aid and embed
Yeah, I know, that's the
with them
thing.
doing
It's like, yeah,
that?
but we were just
Yeah,
trying to see it like legally, where we can do it the proper way, and that's, yeah, and that's what
yeah,
I'm not, I don't know if they can, find. I even, mentioned they have a son. I thought, well, maybe do it under the, son's name.
yeah.
And, but yeah, but the son doesn't want to do it because he already has a house, and, he doesn't want to,
Mm,
pay more taxes. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
okay, somebody has to.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dane.
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. So Melissa says, let's see, do you loan them so they can pay off the balloon? Kind of. I basically just buy the house. And so the seller gets his money. So I buy the house outright, seller gets his money, and then I'm going to refinance into a DSCR, or I could do private money, or I could leave the cash there, whatever. We did a training probably a month ago on like, hey, here's like all these different options that you could buy houses, and here's all these different options you could exit houses. So an infinite amount of ways that I could structure the money. I shouldn't say infinite, several ways I could structure the money. I just choose to go do DSCR because I can get like 7%. When I'm raising money, there are people that will do 7% private raising money, but it's in my sphere, there's not as many because I brand myself as the 10% guy for one, but also partially my own fault. But it's easy to go get that DSCR money. Basically just say, hey, look at this house, look at this tenant already making me payments. Will you give me $585,000? And the DSCR lender's like, yeah, please take our money. They love it. But yeah, oh, I answered your question. Sorry. So I'm reading through these. Let's see. Coco says, if you don't have enough to, let's see, if you don't have enough to, you make an, I'm guessing, if you don't have enough to make an LLC with other investors and add to the interest rate from what they had. I thought I fixed my computer where it doesn't ring, but for some reason my computer's ringing again. Let's see if I can guess what you're saying. If you don't have enough to make an LLC with other
Sorry,
investors,
Daine, that's me.
and okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm
Oh, she's breaking.
trying to get kids ready. My question was before you said CR loan. So enough to fund these repeatedly, would you just get other past investors together, create an LLC and use that money? But you answered it when you said you'd go get a DSCR loan.
Gotcha.
So I see how you're doing it now.
Yeah, because DSCR, you can get infinite. Now, I will say
Thank
that
you.
when I first started doing this, I was doing Fannie Freddie. You know, I could qualify for Fannie Freddie because I'd filed my taxes and paid taxes and whatnot. And so I did qualify for Fannie Freddie. Fannie Freddie is like 0.5% to 1% interest cheaper than DSCR. And so not like insane amounts, but so I basically told myself, you know what? I can get Fannie Freddie. So I'm going to go ahead and get 10 Fannie Freddie loans. And I did. And now I am disqualified because you can only have 10. And so now I just do DSCR. But somebody else could say, oh, well, crap, I can't do Fannie Freddie. They could just start on DSCR from the beginning and would do just fine. And so yeah, either one, DSCR or Fannie Freddie, if you qualify, is just a little, Fannie Freddie is just a little bit cheaper because it's like government backed. And so you can get slightly better interest rates and slightly better fees as well. And so yeah, either one would work. It really, at the end of the day, it just becomes how much is your cost and how much is your revenue. And if revenue is more than your cost, good deal. And you get to decide how much of a spread, you know, if you're like, oh, minimum $100 a month, you know, still, if you think that's a good deal, that's a good deal. If you're like, oh, minimum $500 a month, and you think that's a good deal, that's a good deal. You know, so whatever your revenue is minus your costs and your net profit, if you feel like that's a good spread, then great, do it. And so yeah, great question. All right, Vivian says, so you're actually getting into property. Let's see. So you are actually getting into property for a lower purchase because you are paying off the balloon price and the seller financing back to the buyer with the new terms. Then if the seller wanted a new seller finance deal, you can get a new seller finance deal and you just bought a property for a balloon payment. Correct. So this house, I'm going to guess it's going to appraise for over $1 million. Let's just say $1 million. So I buy the house for what the balloon payment balance is, $585,000. And the day I buy this house, because we'll have a real estate purchase contract, everything will be like regular type closing. The seller will not know any difference. Like it will literally be he'll go sign at the title company and he'll receive a wire or a check. And so I'll buy the house for the $585,000 balloon balance. The house will appraise for $1 million the day I buy it. I'm not going to sell it to the client for $1 million. I personally worked out and said, hey, I'll add 10%. So I'm not a head math guy, but 585, that's 58,500. So if I do 585 times times 1.1, whoops. So 585 times 1.1, I'll buy it for 585. I will turn around and sell it for 643.5 the day I buy it. And so they will owe the 643.5 minus whatever skin in the game they bring. Let's say they bring like $4,000, then they'll owe me 640, but the house is worth $1 million. So I'm able to still say like, hey, you're making more money than I am because we're securing you. If you owe me 640, this house appraises for $1 million. Again, I'm not a head math person, but that's like 360,000. Like we're basically securing $360,000 of equity for you. instantaneously. And so, yeah, I make a quick, 585, sell it for 643, and I make monthly cash flow for as long as this goes. Let's see, what was my numbers? I think I was going to cash flow $1,000 or something like that, plus or minus. And so, yeah, I'll make $1,000 in cash flow for however long this goes. But if they let's say they sell this house tomorrow, they've got $360,000 of equity minus realtor fees and whatnot. So, I mean, they've got over $300,000 of net equity that they could cash out tomorrow if they wanted to. Or let's say they want to sell it in 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, whatever. Now the house is worth 1.3, 1.5 million. They would still only owe me 640 minus amortization. So let's say let's say in 3 years they owe me like 630, 620, something like that, and the house appraises for 1.4 and they sell it for that. I mean, they just made an extra 300 grand or so. And so I can honestly say, like, they always make more money than I do. And which is why I'm trying to think if I've ever had somebody not, but why everybody I've done this for is like, thank you. Thank you so much for helping me, because nobody else would help us. The bank said no. And so I made the cash flow. I never even seen the house. I never will see this house. So, and make whatever that number is, 60 grand on I'll pay a bunch of fees. So it's not like I make the 58,000 cash money, but I've got all my costs and all my, so of that spread, maybe let's say I make $15,000-$20,000 net after I pay all the fees. But let's say I make $1,000 a month for 5 years. See, that's 12,000 per year times 5, 60 grand plus, let's say I cash out 20-ish. So basically over 5 years, I make 80 grand, never even seen the house. Like, I'm okay with that. And so yeah, and the way I usually pitch this is like, hey, I technically make less money because if I owned the same house as a rental, I'd be cashing out the $1.4 million. But I don't. I give it to them in exchange for like 1/10 of the headaches of a rental. And so, yeah, built-in buyer. Yeah, it's amazing because when I buy the house, I already have a lease option, and before I even buy the house, I already have a lease option in place that will be what they call it, executed the moment I own it. And so I buy the house, the tenant in this case, already lives there. And so let's say I buy this on October 16th or whatever. I mean, we'll probably close closer to the end of the month. But let's say I close right at the end of October. I'll probably give them a pass on November's payment. I probably could charge a November payment, but I'll just say, don't worry about it. And so let's say we close October 25th. The first payment is due December 1st. And so and I bought the house and sold it for 60 grand. Like there's so many strategies that are like built into this. It's like wholesaling, kind of like wholetailing, lease options, seller finance, contract ready. Like there's so many strategies meshed together. BRRRR method. There's some BRRRR method in there. But yeah, it's I don't want to say risk free, but there's so many risks mitigated. So many risks mitigated by doing this because it's like a done deal before it even starts. Love it. But yeah, great questions. Let's see, we're 9:24. Any few more questions? Daine, would you please repeat your buyer's criteria? You mentioned 3. Buyer's criteria. I'm not. Did I mention those? So typically I say.
I'm speaking about when you mentioned that the buyer comes, like they must have 3 criterias, like they have money.
Oh, yeah. So if they have, and this is just my personal, right? Don't take this as gospel. Pick your own, because I even started doing this with less than what I'm about to share with you. and did several of them, and then just said, okay, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit and just cherry pick like home run deals instead of tons of base hit deals. But I require 20% down, or like in this case, they have more than 20% equity built into the deal already, because the balloon payment is, I'm not a head math person, 585 divided by, let's even say that by some crazy whack job appraiser, let's say this appraisal comes back at 850. When I was pulling comps, like the cheapest house in the whole neighborhood was $850,000. So let's even say that it only appraises for 850, and again, I would probably call that appraiser a whack job, because if I remember right, like that house was much smaller, didn't have a basement. Our house has a finished basement, and bigger, and anyway, better view. But let's even say 850. So I buy a house for 585. It appraises literally the same day for 50. I'm in that house 68 point, let's call it 69%. Let's just round it up. I'm in the house 70%. So technically better than my traditional criteria, where I say, hey, if you got 20% down, point at any house you want and I'll buy it. So basically I'm in at 80%. In this one, even if it appraises for 850, I'm in this 70%. But let's say it does appraise for the million. Let's see, 1 million. I'm in at 58%. Let's call it 59. I'm in at 59%. So my criteria is 20% down or better, even if balloon payment, built-in equity. And I typically don't like to go over like 600s. And so even though this is $1 million home, I'm still within my personal comfort zone, because yeah, it's $1 million home, but I'm only in at 585. And I would have done like a house at 650 even. I've done a handful of them at 650, and I paid retail value for the 650, but they put 20% down, so I was in at 80%. Which, if you do the math, like most fix and flippers, again, I'm a hard money lender, so I see lots and lots of other fix and flippers, and I see their deals, I see their numbers. Most fix and flippers are, if they can make 10% of their ARV, then they're doing like a home run deal. Like, in other words, if they sell a house for $500,000 and they can make $50,000 net profit, then that's like a home run fix and flip deal. If they sell the house for $600,000 and they can make a $60,000 net profit, I mean, that's a home run deal. I don't see as many of those anymore, but I'm in this better than my own criteria for a fix and flip deal. I'm in at 80%. When I mentioned that a good fix and flipper makes 10%. And so, yeah, there's a couple of fees in there, but I'm still better than the 10%, even after I pay a bunch of fees. And so yeah, 80% is where I like to be. If they bring 20% down or 20% equity in the deal. And then really, when I calculate the monthly payment, if they're like, yeah, I can afford that, then I say, cool, let's do it. And like I say, so I gave you two criteria. 20% down. I personally like to trail, where the 650 came from is right now conventional limits. In fact, I bet you it just changed. Let's Google it. Here, let me share my screen so you guys can see what I'm Googling. Let's see, let's call it Salt Lake County conventional loan limits. Let's see if it, oh wow, it just went up again, 806. Yeah, I was going to say, I bet you it went up. $806,000. And so that's why I say I trail conventional loan limits, because to me, like, that's insane. An $800,000 house on a, it's, in fact, usually that's about the same as a FHA too. Let's see, Salt Lake County FHA loan limits. Yeah, 806. And so, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And so, yeah, FHA is $800,000 in Salt Lake City now. And so I don't want to do $800,000 homes, because Values have gone up faster than rents have. And so I have to account for what a house would rent for two reasons. One, because it's smart. And that's the main reason is I don't want to do a deal that worst case scenario, let's say my buyer fails drastically, doesn't make a single payment. I want to know, can I rent this house bare bones, worst case scenario, if I absolutely had to? Let's say this same house, $585,000 purchase, appraises for, let's even use the $850,000 number. Let's say that tomorrow we have another 2008, and now all of a sudden this house appraises for $500,000. I want to know that I can rent that house out bare bones if I couldn't sell it and or sell it on seller financing. And you're not renting out an $800,000 house. I will tell you that right now. In Salt Lake, yeah, in Salt Lake at least, or I should say in Utah. You know, this would be true statewide. You're not renting an $800,000 house out if you even have an 80% loan to value or even a 75% loan to value of an $800,000 house. You're not renting the house out and cash flowing. You're writing a check every single month. And so that's why I say I trail FHA, I trail conventional loan limits. Right now, my sweet spot, my high spot, I should say, is in the 600s, low 600s, unless they're putting more money down. So that's why, like 585, again, that's getting up there in my book. But the house is worth $1 million, and so it would rent for more than a $585,000 house would, if that makes any sense at all. Let me know if I need to clarify that. But yeah, great questions. So there's my criteria. 80%, can they make the payment? And I trail FHA limits. Jasmine says, how do you verify they can pay? I show them a number. So I'm technically not allowed, because I'm not a loan officer. I'm technically not allowed to say, hey, send me your taxes, send me your Social Security, send me your I'm going to pull your credit, send me out. I'm technically not allowed to do that stuff. And so I calculate all the numbers. I say, can you make this payment comfortably? Or is this going to put a major burden on you to make this payment? Yes or no? And if they're like, yeah, we can make that, that's totally fine. Then I say, great. Let's do this. But yeah, great questions. That was a mouthful. Cool. All right, I've got an appointment right after this, so my apologies.
Fantastic.
But yeah, great stuff today.
All about risk mitigation. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Risk as the top thing, and then everything you could do to reduce it, you're going to be just fine. And this is a great framework for it, because Daine is literally teaching you how to think like a bank, like a banker, and look around your town. They have the biggest buildings in every city, so you need to change the way you think.
Yeah, because you can help more. Like, yeah, technically fix and flippers, they probably cash a bigger check than I do per house. Landlords, maybe not cash flow during the renting period, but when they sell the house, they cash a lot bigger check than I do. So like, there's so many ways to make more money per deal, but I can do 10 deals with the same amount of manpower as the landlord can do 1 deal. I can do 20 deals with the same amount of man hours as it takes to do 1 fix and flip. And the management is basically, did they make the payment? Yes or no? And if they didn't, hey, did you make the payment? Yes or no? And if they say no, then you say, when will you make the payment? And if they don't respond, then you say, hey, attorney, send a letter.
Make a payment.
Go paste a letter on their door. Hey, make a payment or get out. Like, and usually, thankfully I've only had to do that. Like, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've had to do that. Um, but I'll tell you, it only takes once when they're like, oh, okay. Make the payment. And so, yeah,
It's working.
like that's usually that's like basically my extent of my management. Hey, did you make the payment? I don't see it in the bank account.
So hopefully we've convinced you guys to take some action and get at least one of these deals in your portfolio, and especially talking about it, sharing the stories so that you can help more students get into the program. It's absolutely
Yeah.
worth it.
I mean, like I said, that's how I've done all the deals I've done so far, is just telling stories. What Michael just opened a can of worms about is how somebody could do it 10 times faster than I ever did. Because yeah, my way organically and whatever, it takes a long time. But I couldn't
There are
think of a way
people,
to have structured conversations like this.
right? Right. And now that we've cut through all that red tape and made a template, I mean, the amount of problems we're solving by being real estate investors is immeasurable because it's more life than just numbers on a sheet. And so the way we get to impact people in a positive way, inside of our industry is literally life changing. Not just nice, not just convenient, but absolutely life changing in the positive direction. And if you don't heed our warnings, it could be life changing in the negative direction. So stay educated.
Mm-hmm. And I can honestly say that my business model makes other people money. Like I had an attorney tell me that once, where it just kind of took me back. Where I was asking this attorney, "Oh, why'd you get into this?" And he's like, "Well, I love being in a business where I help other people make money. Oftentimes, way more money than they ever pay me." And this was coming straight from an attorney, and I was just like, "I like that." And then I looked at this, I was like, I can honestly say that I help other people make more money than they make me. Good business model.
Definitely.
And it's a one of those buzz phrases that gives people warm fuzzies because like, yeah, like even all the examples I shared even today, they're making more money than I am. And so they're like, yeah, Daine's a good guy. Like they're gonna tell all their friends at the car show. Like and so even if they, like I guess in our story, the guy doesn't even know who I am. I've never talked to Aubrey's father, but I told the story to Aubrey. Aubrey told the story to her dad, and he was like, "This is a great story at the car show." And here we are, closing the deal
Beautiful
probably at the
thing.
end of this month. And
Nice.
so, good deal.
Yeah, man. Well,
But
thanks again for being here, being available, answering all the questions, being, an open book to our whole team because, we're inspired and everyone's taking action in the ways that they can. We're here to help. So thanks again, Daine, and everybody else participating and helping with the volunteer stuff on the back end, more of the recruiting. Remember, the more people involved in our community, the faster all the deals can manifest. It's a team sport. So I love my team. I love being here. And thanks again, Daine. Everybody else, have a fantastic day. We'll see
and
you
really quick, there's
go
so
ahead.
many deals out there that there's no way, and that's actually why I said what I said when I was like looking at 116 names. I was like, I don't even have the capacity myself to do all those. Like there's so many deals out there. I can't do them all. And so there's so much opportunity, so much money to be made out there that there's like deals for everybody, basically. Like like it almost made me like cringe because like, oh man, if I had another $10 million, then maybe I could do even just the leads that we just pulled. But I don't. And so you take them.
Awesome.
I don't have the bandwidth or capacity. So your opportunity, not mine.
You
And that's
get a
even
deal.
just Salt
You
Lake
get a deal.
County.
You get a deal. Everybody gets a deal.
Yeah. So
Win,
awesome.
win, win, right?
That's right.
Absolutely. And that was, we just
Thank you,
pulled one
Daine.
county. Look at like how many counties are there in the United States?
3,100.
I didn't know that, but there you go. Let's say there's 100 deals per county. Some counties would be a lot smaller, but some counties would be a lot bigger. So let's say average 100 deals per county. That's a lot. I'm not even
That's
a
a
head
lot.
math person.
And right now there's only 22 of us, so there's plenty to go around.
Yeah. So
Thank
anyway,
you so much.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Peace. Love y'all.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you next week in
No,
Utah.
sorry.
Bye for now. Mwah.